A recent update by Gallup confirms that managers are the greatest influence to a successful employee. The CIPD shares that line managers play a crucial role in the employee's performance and attitude depending on the working relationship with their line manager and how the line manager applies HR policies. As a people manager, you need to fully understand your role, and it covers bringing HR policies to life, building strong connections, leading by example, and managing performance. The big theme here is the need to build strong connections and communicate with your team member. And this is why one-to-one meetings are of such great value. One-to-one meetings, also called check-ins or one-to-ones, are a set time for an employee and their manager to meet to discuss work, career development, and growth. I have just shared the first out of 6 tips that will help you transform your one-to-one meetings into productive and meaningful conversations as a people manager. So tip number 1 is to know your role as a line manager and why this is important. Tip number 2 is to set expectations. This comes in the form of setting a clear purpose and a clear agenda with advanced preparation. Here's an example. John is the head of sales at Happy Enterprise, and John's employer aims to increase profits by expanding their customer base. And to support this strategy, John and his manager, Amma, have agreed a SMART goal, and this is what the SMART goal looks like. This is a simple example, but it sets the work expectations and helps to easily identify issues when they arise. John and his manager, Amma, have one-to-ones every week, and they meet at least 30 to 60 minutes every week. And they both have the opportunity to add to the meeting agenda, which is a semi-structured format. More on the structure later. This means that they are clear on the frequency of the meeting dates, the meeting time, and the discussion points. In addition, for Amma, she needs to go into the meeting prepared with a clear headspace to adequately support John. And this is an opportunity for John to be seen, heard, and to feel emotionally supported. Tip number 3 is active listening and being attentive. Now that you have protected time for the meeting, avoid distractions and ensure that the meeting does take place and you're fully present and actively listening. We mostly have stuff going on and we get caught up in our own thoughts and responses, but truly listening to the other person can be a total game changer. Active listening is about being fully absorbed in what someone is saying, how they're saying it, and so that you understand the message in their communication. Although the meeting is a dialogue, make sure that you are orchestrating this and the team member is the one making the music. Orchestrating or conducting, but you get my point. Talk less and listen more. Face-to-face meetings are ideal, or at the very least, use video whenever possible. As human beings, we are wired to respond to facial cues and body language, so using video can help you build that deeper connection with the other person. However, many managers complain with the argument, but I don't have time. Well, which is worse, spending time rehiring, which comes at a financial cost and more time lost, or giving attention to one thing at a time so that you know that for the rest of the week, you can focus on something else, whilst that individual, your team member, feels supported so that they can do better work. The latter is a no-brainer. A quick story. There was this manager who was an expert in his field, but rarely made time to meet with his team members because he was too busy. Eventually, 2 of his team members left and he struggled to fill the roles. But guess what happened? With so much to do, he became overwhelmed and his director had to step in to help. Do you see how one action that failed to prioritize the team member meeting created a domino effect, taking up more time from everyone else? This is where the business leaders and with HR should have a job description and performance review systems that ensures that managers understand their role and takes away any doubt that their team success is an indicator of their own performance. It is your job as a people manager and your role as a team leader. Amma needs to avoid this and also set the example for John, who also has his team, so that he has his one-to-one with his growing team. Tip number 4 is to ensure psychological safety in these meetings. Let's understand the difference between psychological safety and safe spaces, because I am guilty of using them interchangeably, but they are 2 different things, and managers need to know the difference so that they can do their job well. So the Harvard Business Reviews define team psychology safety as a shared belief held by members of a team that it's okay to take risks, express their ideas and concerns, to speak up with questions, and to admit mistakes, all without fear of negative consequences. So it goes on to say that to create psychological safety, you need to show that you want to hear from your team, you need to admit your own mistakes whilst also modeling the right behavior, responding in a way that builds. It is not, however, about always being nice. Niceness without integrity and communicating the real issues, in my view, is hypocritical and cowardly as a manager. It is also not about feeling so comfortable that you interact with others without respect. Growth occurs outside your comfort zone, so don't equate psychological safety with feeling so comfortable. Nevertheless, create a value and strength based feedback environment. I can expand more on this in another video, so comment below if interested. The point here is that we can all be challenged in a respectful and positive way so that we can better ourselves, and it includes everyone, you and the employee. A safe space, on the other hand, is described by Tom from the website Psych Safety, and the focus is on comfort for healing. And in my opinion, the relationship between manager and team member is not guaranteed to provide this. It is different. Comment below to share your thoughts on this. But remember those four aspects of the role of a line manager. The definition of psychological safety and safe spaces should now give you that confidence to effectively communicate, listen, and address issues with your team. Be supportive, but with respectful boundaries. John, for instance, is now able to tell Amma of the challenges that he's been facing with the builders and his concerns about meeting a deadline. And as a result, he had to spend more nights away from his sick mom. It allows Amma to have that deeper discussion on the work issue and his experience in the past week. Amma can then consider ways to support John and can even pull HR in areas that she's not sure of. This is the part of the relationship building where trust takes root. Tip number 5 is about documentation. It is important to capture the main points and actions of the meeting so that you both can refer to it later in the future. The other reason for documentation is to have supporting information as a transparent measure or evidence of the effectiveness of the meeting, what is being discussed, tracking progress, performance issues, wins, and the level of support being provided. It helps to have a consistent way of doing this that aligns with whatever HR processes exist in your organization. And I advocate the use of a standard template in organizations which captures those one-to-one notes, but in such a way that it ensures that the performance review process is done as an ongoing process. And every month, Amma and John can summarize the main points so that the end of the year reviews are more of a summary of all that has already been noted or discussed. I love a simple process, and I'll talk more around performance reviews and our performance reviews later. This is an example of a one-to-one template. It covers different areas in the meeting to make it more effective, and you can see the different headings here, and it includes work updates, your growth, your other line manager support, and a well-being check-in. There are different questions you can ask from the main headings, and this semi-loose structure allows some flexibility to adjust when needed. Ask the right questions and be thoughtful about what is appropriate at the time. For example, under well-being, you can ask, what has been your energy level this week? Especially if you think there has been a dip in the team members' energy. Having a template of questions is very helpful, and it avoids that cold check-in which only focuses on work updates. We are more than just the work update. Go to the Maydaybaiden website and subscribe to the newsletter so that you receive a free guide in a one-to-one template that you can adapt for your team. Generally, the line manager should be leading on this, but depending on the skills and experience of the team member, they can also take note. Key is that it is both agreed and stored in a shared folder or system that they can both access. What you see here is employee being able to take the notes and also the line manager also being able to take the notes. So both of them can, or one of them can take the lead. It really doesn't matter, and it's really what you both agree on. The trick here is to listen attentively first, summarize what you have heard, and then take notes. My style is to do this in the meeting so that it's captured for the team member to see what I am noting. It works for me, so choose what works for you. So going back to the example of Amma and John, Amma will then take notes using this template. The CIPD paper on productive meetings noted that the perceptions of those involved in the meetings impact the effectiveness of the meeting. And this table shows the factors that influence meeting effectiveness. And note the strongest effect is under behavior, specifically meeting leader behavior. It shows that the manager's behavior is important in meeting effectiveness. So what you do before, during, and after the meeting, it all counts. Speaking on what to do after leads on to the final tip number 6, which is to take action. Do what you said you would do, or do what you need to do. This is the follow up on the actions after the meeting. Take some time to reflect on what has been discussed and block some time in your calendar to ensure that you've got focused time to action the items. Preferably keep 10 minutes free after the meeting to organize this before you go to your next meeting. So back to John and Amma. So with John's shared information on the builders, the possible project delay and impact on his personal life, Amma could arrange a call with John and the builders in the week, and she can change her work schedule that week to go on site to support John. So actions have been taken. Right, I hope that was helpful. To recap, know your role as manager, set expectations, actively listen, create psychological safety, document, and then take action. By following these 6 essential tips, you can make your one-to-one meetings more effective, and a good one-to-one will leave both of you feeling really good. Remember, these meetings aren't just about checking off a task, they are about deepening relationships, driving performance, and fostering growth. And this is my objective with building a community of leaders on this channel who care about their team and which also adds to organization's success. Thanks for watching, and share your experiences on one-to-ones in the comments below.